Okay, if you haven't noticed, we are entering a global recession, and that means your books are going to stop selling as many copies, and therefore you're going to need to take the right steps to make sure your book doesn't reach zero sales or close to it as we're heading into this massive recession. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So as we're heading into a recession, that means that you're going to see an awful lot of areas where people are trying to save money. And as they're trying to save money, they're going to be much more selective on which books they're going to purchase versus which books they're just going to let sit there. Your ad campaigns are going to become less effective. Your pricing strategies are going to begin to lose a little bit of the effectiveness of them. And so you're going to need to take the right steps to make sure that your books continue to sell even in the middle of this recession. How exactly do we recession-proof our books? Well, the first thing is you're really going to need to make sure you're not cutting any corners when it comes to optimizing your books to sell. And the first one is that you're going to need to choose a profitable niche. If you're not in a profitable niche during a time of recession, your books are going to go even worse when it comes to sales. So it makes it incredibly important that your books are inside of a niche that's selling. Well, what exactly is a profitable niche? That's where you have hungry readers and a shortage of books. We use a tool called KD Spy. You can find my affiliate link below in the description. And in that, we go through exactly using this tool, which books or which keywords rather are going to bring us sales even in this recession time. And that's usually looking for the hungry audience, where we can see, we do a search on the number of books available for a given niche, and then at the same time we're also going to see how many of the books in the first page of search results for that given keyword or category, if you like, are going to be in the top 100,000. And looking between those two, we can figure out a ratio in order to find out if we are in fact in a profitable niche. One way to look at this niche concept is actually seeing the keywords people would search for in order to find your book. And this one here is a mistake that I would say most of my clients, when I first meet them, they're almost always making this. I myself was even making this mistake. I found some profitable keywords accidentally on my very first book, but otherwise I seriously had a lot to learn when it came to keywords, underestimating just how powerful they are at making your book visible. During a recession, if your books are not showing up in the search engines, if they're not coming in front of your target audience, you're not going to make sales at all. It's already hard enough, but make sure you're in a profitable niche. Number 2, you need to learn email marketing. And the thing is, you have email marketing, you have your content marketing, and you have your paid ads. And so this combination of learning marketing and getting better at it as you're practicing each of these steps. During a time of recession, you need to be able to get in direct contact with your readers. But how are you going to do that? Amazon isn't going to share your email list. And that was something I was discussing recently with a client in group coaching. The absolute importance, how high it is up on the list to start the email list as early as you can. We're not saying stop writing. You need to do both writing and the other, but split your time between the two, between the marketing and creating of new books. This plays a very important role. So it's just like a tree, right? When's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 20 years ago. And that's about the same time with the email list. And this is also the reason why you need to stick to one niche. You found your profitable niche, so now you're going to just stick to that. So when you're building your email list, you're not all over the place trying to get into contact with people from all of these different areas and all these different niches and annoying people, as opposed to one subject that you talk about in your specific niche. Such an important point. And the same goes true when you're doing the content marketing. We're picking up speed. We're not doing everything at once. That's how we keep things easy. We pick up one skill, we practice that skill, and then we add on another skill, and we continue rotating through the different things we have until we have momentum, getting sales, we bring on a team, and now it gets easier to do multiple things at the same time in parallel in a given day. This is the flow of winning when it comes to self-publishing, and it's something that a lot of authors never get to this point because you've already broken enough of the rules that you're simply not going to see those sales. And the final thing is paid ads, which paid ads in many ways is the first thing. The second you have your book in the Kindle format on Amazon, it's time to start running those ads. We want to run the ads. Now, ideally, of course, we have at least one review. You need to work hard to get that one review, but at least get one review on your book and then we run the ads against it and then see what happens. And one of the things that surprised some of my one-on-one clients is that when we're going through our session, in a period of one session, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get your ads started. I remember the first time somebody said, you should be running Amazon ads. I'm like, ads? This seems really complicated. Doesn't that cost a lot of money? The answer is no and no. And they've earned me a lot of money after pushing something 120 million times. People have seen my ads. Actually, it's now well over 120 million times. I look at the sales that come through them, and it is a massive amount of money and bringing me new clients and new people on my email lists. So this is something you cannot skip on when it comes in a time of recession. We need to be able to contact these people without having to go through an intermediary like Amazon and hoping the best. And to keep in mind, once they're on your email list, you don't have to pay again to get access to them. Like with ads, you have to keep on paying, and they can raise the rates like they do in order to make it difficult for authors just like you. The third point, put out book after book inside of the same niche and keep on optimizing. We want to see the best sellers in your categories that you're targeting for your keywords, and we want to see what they're doing and making sure our book looks very similar to their book. But even they make huge mistakes. Now, one of the things is we were discussing with one of my group coaching clients recently, it was this idea that, well, which one of these changes do I need to make to my sales page for my book in order to get me the sales I need? And the answer is, well, if you change this in the description, it's going to probably increase your sales between 2 and 5%. If you make these changes in your author's bio, that's going to bump it another 2-5%. What about your pricing strategy? This is going to directly impact how much you can pay for ads. So many people are undercharging for their books. This is one of the reasons why I do power sessions with people for just $7. We do it 15 minutes back and forth on Volley app, and we're able to hammer out some of the common mistakes that are being made. And that's one of the reasons you can just check out that below in the description. So easy. We just sit down, we go straight through it, and we can look and see what mistakes you've made on your book, or even better, we can help you prevent those mistakes before you've even chosen the title to make sure you are not going to be publishing a book in a dead market. Now, trust me, I saw somebody, one of my people I was going back and forth, even here on YouTube, I looked at his books and he had like 20, 30 books on the market, and then none of them, they were all in the millions ranking. It was terrible how they were all doing. And the reason being was he chose a market that simply has no sales in it. You may be an expert at, I don't know, let's just say blowing glass, decorations or something. But if there's no market for it, really, you could come out with every book and how to do this color and how to do that material, but nobody's going to buy those books. And the way that we can tell whether somebody's going to buy a book or not is, are they already buying the books on Amazon right now, or aren't they? Because if they're not buying the books currently on Amazon, well, guess what? There is a low probability they're going to start buying your books on that same niche. Now, it's hard to feel that way. Sometimes people are thinking, I ask people, well, what niche are you in? Well, I'm sort of all over the place. Okay, that's the wrong answer. If you want to sell no books, that's a perfect way to do it. I'm just a little of this, a little of that. It's kind of vanilla. It doesn't really make any sense what I'm doing. And so we want to really hammer in, focus on what we're doing, making sure that we're putting out books in profitable niches. We're making sure they're optimized. And then what do? We keep repeating these steps and getting better. As I was pointing out recently to somebody during a power session, there are about 1,000 different strategies that you can implement for your books. 1,000 strategies. But that's not the easy way. The easy way is we start off at the highest level and just do the low-hanging fruit first. And as we go through it, we move on to the deeper and deeper things. And that's one of the reasons why, if you aren't working with somebody regularly, I would definitely recommend getting in contact with me, join my email list so that we can directly work back and forth. And if it's not me, then choose somebody else who's published over 200 books, have 120 million ads with 40,000 sales. Choose somebody who's able to actually has been through it in the trenches, understands what it takes in order to get books selling. You definitely do not want to go this whole thing alone. But we were just discussing a little bit about categories and making sure your books are in the correct categories. And the best way to do that is to check out the 3 best book categories on Amazon. And you're going to find out about those right up here. And I'll see you over there. Thanks.